We just came back to Kiev 3 days ago from the front lines. And when we were there, as you know, there are no atheists in a foxhole. And that's true. When you are under mortar shelling, it influences your faith. It influences your theology. So everybody starts to pray to God.
In the midst of all the suffering, tremendous courage is being displayed. Our correspondent Erick Stakelbeck caught up with a pastor in Ukraine who's packing heat.
And we are joined now from Ukraine by Pastor Oleg Magdych. Oleg, thank you so much for joining us. You are on the ground right now in Ukraine. You are close to the front line and close to Russian forces. First of all, tell us how you got here personally. I mentioned in the lead-in that you are a pastor, but you're also obviously a warrior, and you're a father and a husband. When the Russian invasion unfolded, what was your first act? What did you do with your family? And how did you get where you are right now?
Well, thank you for having me. And I want to say that 8 years ago, Russia invaded Ukraine, and that's when my war started. And that's when I started helping Ukrainian army, distributing help to the front lines and trying to provide spiritual help as well for the soldiers. And so when on February 24th, Russia started bombing major Ukrainian cities, it wasn't the first day of the war for me. And I knew exactly what I'm going to be doing. So I told my wife and my kids that they have to leave Kyiv because I knew that Kyiv is going to be under a huge attack. And my wife and my son, they moved to the Western Ukraine, where they are at the moment. And my wife, Oksana, she's working at the refugee center there, taking care of 300 plus refugees. And I have joined a volunteer battalion. I have people under my command that are 100% volunteers, which means they do not get any kind of salary for what they're doing, but they're ready to sacrifice their lives for their people and their country. I don't want this Russian world to be here in my country. And I've lost some friends during this war in the last 8 years, friends that loved Ukraine and loved Ukrainians enough to die for them. And if I would move out of Ukraine at this moment, I would have to live with it through all my life. And I just couldn't do that. I want Ukraine to be free. I want Ukrainians to be free. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing at the moment.
What do your wife, your children say right now? Do they understand what's going on and why Daddy has to be on the front lines?
Well, my wife is my hero. She knows that I love her, but she knows that I love my country as well. So for her, it was a hard decision to let me stay, but she made that decision. She would let me stay in Kyiv and fight. My son wants to be with me, but we have a deal with him. He has to take care of his mom while I'm gone, and he's doing a great job of taking care of my wife. And they miss me a lot, and I do miss them a lot. And I hope that one day we will reunite.
Do you have an opportunity to share the gospel, to share Jesus, to share Christ with your fellow soldiers and your countrymen as you're on the front lines?
Yeah, as I said before, I'm a part of the volunteer battalion, which has a long history of fighting for Ukraine. And one of the pillars of this battalion is faith. So I have 120 people under my command, and all of them are praying every single day. I lead them in the prayer, and when we just came back to Kyiv 3 days ago from the front lines, and when we were there, As you know, there are no atheists in a foxhole, and that's true. When you are under mortar shelling, it influences your faith. It influences your theology. So everybody starts to pray to God. And the very first day we were at the front lines, we spent 4 hours under heavy shelling, and no one was even injured in my team. So it was a huge testimony for them. Every night they would ask me, are we going to pray before we go to bed? Those who went to bed. So they were asking me to pray for them. So that's my, this is my church at the moment. This is my church. Those are my people that I serve to.
Oleg, we are hearing many reports here in the West of Russian atrocities, of targeting Ukrainian civilians. Have you seen evidence of that?
Yes, of course, I've seen horrible things that Russian soldiers did to civilians. It's one thing to fight against soldiers, but it's a completely different thing when you're killing civilians. And this is unacceptable, and it makes me and my men very angry.
Are there any specific ways you're praying with your men and helping them to get through this experience?
In most cases, our prayer is very simple. We pray for a few very specific things. One of them, we're praying to God to give us strength and wisdom in our training. Another thing we pray for is we're praying for our brothers and sisters who are at the front lines at this very moment, and we ask God to protect them. And then one more thing we're praying for peace, but a very specific peace. We're praying for peace through the victory. We need a victory in this battle, and that's what we're praying for.
And before we go, Oleg, how can we, TBN viewers around the world, how can we pray for you and your fellow soldiers and the people of Ukraine?
Please be praying for the civilians. As soldiers, we're here to fight and we're ready to die, but we don't want any civilian to die. So please be praying for kids, for women, for elderly people that are there under Russian aggression. Most of them, like in Mariupol, they have no way out. Like they are living on the occupied territories and they can't escape, and they're being killed and raped. Please be praying for them, and pray for the soldiers, for God to protect them at the battlefield.
Oleg, we will do exactly that. On a personal level, we will be praying for you and your family, and that you see them again, that you are reunited very soon. Oleg Magdych, we can't thank you enough for joining us. God bless you, my friend. Keep it up. Stay safe. Stay strong. We're praying with you. Thank you, Oleg.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm Doug McKelway, and thank you for watching Centerpoint. We hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Leave a comment below and keep the conversation going by sharing this video with a friend who needs to see it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.